Part 111. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 1101. After entering the police station, the bastard boy was still telling the police officer who was investigating the case how much he liked Zhou Tao with tears in his eyes. The police officer rolled his eyes at him impatiently. "Sir, please don't do illegal things in the name of love, okay? Your behavior tonight constitutes several crimes." The bastard fan said enthusiastically, "As long as Zhou Tao nods, I will be happy to put me in jail." Zhou Tao on the side nodded, "Then let him go to jail. Seek benevolence and benevolence will satisfy you." But the bastard fan looked perverted. "Then I went to jail for you, Zhou Tao, you must remember me, you must remember me." Zhou Tao feels mixed emotions. This is not star chasing, it is just satisfying the other person's morbid selfish desires. She does not advocate this morbid model of star chasing. Lu Wenzhou was sitting in the car outside smoking. Through the half-open window, drizzle drifted in, and smoke filled his fingertips. Wang Hui whispered, "Second master, won't you go in and stay with her?" The second master received a cold look. "Do you think it's appropriate to go in now?" Wang Hui touched the back of his head. "I don't know, I just feel like Miss Zhou needs someone to rely on now." Lu Wenzhou looked at the brightly lit police station. "She knows I'm outside." Wang Hui swiped his phone and suddenly said, "Second master, Miss Zhou has been on the hot search. Someone posted tonight's video on Weibo." Lu Wenzhou took out his cell phone and made a call. "It's just a marketing account, just a rhythm. Mr. Lu has many capable people under his command and has the most powerful public relations team. This little thing is really a trivial matter." Zhou Tao was still taking notes when she received a call from Wen Qiao. The voice on the other end was a bit hoarse. She was probably woken up from her sleep. Zhou Tao felt distressed. She felt distressed after her boss took her in. Always uneasy. "Zhou Tao, please post a Weibo post to appeal to everyone to follow stars rationally." Zhou Tao nodded, "Okay, I'll post on Weibo right now. It was my negligence. I will send a female bodyguard to you tomorrow to follow you 24 hours a day. Xiaoe, I will also come back tomorrow night." Zhou Tao smiled, "I'm fine, Qiao, don't worry, I'm taking notes with the police, and I'll go back to the hotel when I'm done." "I'll go with you." "No, it's already very late. Don't come over. The police will take me back to the hotel after finishing the transcript." "Wen Qiao, I'm not worried about you being there alone. There are crew members in the same hotel." As he spoke, he walked to a quiet place and whispered, "Lu Wenzhou, he's here too." Wen Qiao was stunned for 3 seconds. "Ah. How could he go? Just when he called me, the bastard was banging on my door, and then he came over." Wen Qiao said, "Oh, then he is quite conscientious. Do you really not need me to come over?" "Well, no, you can go to sleep. If you have anything to do, we'll talk about it tomorrow. Call me anytime if you need anything." "Good." It was already 2:30 in the morning when the transcript was finished. Zhou Tao was frightened. The bastard had been detained at this time. She was relieved, but she felt that her whole body was sore and the sequelae were very obvious. The team leader of the police station was very responsible and sent her back to the room. As soon as Zhou Tao entered the room, her phone vibrated. It was a call from Lu Wenzhou. "I booked the room opposite you. You can sleep peacefully." Zhou Tao lowered his hands, feeling complicated for a moment, and said thank you for a while. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 1102. It's getting late, go to bed. There was drizzle outside the window, and Zhou Tao was lying on the bed, not sleepy. Thinking of everything that happened tonight, she always felt frightened, but thinking of someone familiar to her living across the door, she felt a lot more at ease. She had to admit that this time, she owed Lu Wenzo. She thought hard about how to repay him. She didn't want to owe him any kindness. In the morning, the female bodyguard sent by Wen Qiao came early in the morning. It was a suite, 2 bedrooms, and a small living room. The female bodyguard's name is Song Yat. She is 173 tall, has neat short hair, has an heroic appearance, and doesn't talk much. She wears short sleeves and can see that she has a strong figure. Wen Qiao sent her a message, telling her that Song Ya had won the championship for 3 consecutive years in women's judo and taekwondo competitions, and was very skilled. She was recommended by someone she trusted, so she could rest assured. Zhou Tao shook hands with Song Ya. "I'll trouble you later." "Song Ya, it's my job, you're welcome." The crew of Mingli Middle School incident book didn't know about the thrilling incident that happened last night until the morning. The director was frightened and rushed over to express condolences to Zhou Tao. Zhou Tao smiled. "It's okay. Would you like to take a day off?" "Zhou Tao, it's not good to ask for leave on the first day of filming." "I'm fine. Let's go to the crew." When I went downstairs, I received a WeChat message from Lu Wenzo. "I have work during the day, and I will live across from you at night these days." Zhou Tao was in a daze and replied with a message, "Thank you, but Wen Qiao has arranged a bodyguard for me. I won't bother you. You should be very busy." "No trouble." This is his reply. Zhou Tao always felt that she would be too pretentious if she continued to pester her, so she did not reply. During the day, I heard that the bastard would be severely sentenced. It was probably because Lu Wenzo also involved his legal team. When I arrived at the set for filming until noon, I heard that someone was supporting the entire set with a dining car and cold coffee drinks. Zhou Douzhen was confused when he heard Song Yuchen's voice. "Zhou Tao, are you okay?" It turned out that Song Yuchen was supporting her. After all, everyone in the world knew that he liked her and was pursuing her, and he lived such an upright life. "It's okay." Song Yuchen handed her a cup of matcha frappuccino, with the straw inserted, and Zhou Tao took it. "I heard that there is a crazy bastard following you and hiding in your room." Zhou Tao said coquettishly, "Are you helping me recall it again? I almost forgot." She plays a high school student with a high ponytail and a high school uniform. Her name and student number are embroidered on the right side of her white shirt. The makeup artist is indispensable. She is less enchanting and more innocent. She smiles like this and Song Yuchen. While talking, Song Yuchen felt that he had become an idiot. "She is so beautiful, this is the only thing left in my mind." Sorry, has it been resolved?" "Well, the police have been called. He is currently in custody. The company has sent a female bodyguard. He should be fine in the future." Song Yuchen comforted her. "The problem of illegitimacy is indeed very serious, and it is forbidden repeatedly. You must be careful yourself. I will teach you some ways to get rid of car chases." The two top leaders exchanged ideas on how to deal with illegitimate students. Song Yuchen did not keep a low profile about this matter, and many people knew about it, so it reached Lu Wenzo's ears. When Lu Wenzo heard the news, he was about to rush to the hotel. After hearing what Wang Hui said, he fell silent. Many times, he envied those people who could be so upright and express their love with their mouths. But he was envious, and all he could do was hide in the dark. No matter how long this dark road lasts, he doesn't want to give up, and he won't give up. "Thank you for the reward. The clouds are like the clothes and the flowers are like the appearance. Annoying, 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 expression of 2 glutinous rice balls, Lingmu Shuangqing, jasmine blossoms, stealing pigs on the 11th day, just a title. Okay. I haven't asked for monthly votes for a long time. Those who have monthly votes, please vote. Thank you for your support. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 1103. There were only a few days left in the summer vacation. Wen Qiao felt that Shen Yan was making rapid progress in his cultural classes, so she subtly provided psychological counseling to the child. Therefore, she believed that Shen Yan's transformation had met Shen Qiuazhong's requirements. She called Shen Qiuazhong, "Mr. Shen, today I want to give Shen Yan a small test, a cultural class other than language and mathematics. Before I tutored him, he could only get more than 30 points. Now, he can basically get more than 30 points. I can get over 60 points in the exam. If so, can Mr. Shen recognize my work?" Shen Qiuazhong smiled slightly. If Shen Yan can really get above 60 points in every subject, then even if the deal between us is reached, I will definitely fulfill my promise to you. Wen Qiao breathed a sigh of relief. Since he said so, there should be no problem. Shen Qiuazhong asked his servant to download 3 test papers online and print them out, and asked Shen Yan to take the test on the spot. Wen Qiao is not worried, because she took the test repeatedly a few days ago, and Shen Yan is now at least 70% in a single subject, without any mistakes. She has left herself some room today. It seems that the first task can be completed. When the exam began, Wen Qiao sat across from the desk, confident, and Shen Yan looked very relaxed and wrote confidently. It took 2.5 hours to finish all 3 test papers. Shen Qiuazhong smiled. For the sake of fairness, I ask someone else to mark the test paper. Wen Qiao, it should be. It took 20 minutes to correct the test papers. Finally, the 3 test papers were sent to Wen Qiao and Shen Qiuazhong. The top one was a math test paper, and Wen Qiao suddenly saw a 46. 46 points? How can this be? Shen Qiuazhong chuckled. Teacher Wen, it seems that your task has not been completed. You only scored 46 points in the math test. Turning to the second test paper, it was Chinese, with 58 points, and the last one was English, with only 39 points. There is not much difference from the score before she took over. Shen Qiuazhong's face was full of disappointment. Teacher Wen, I saw you were full of confidence before the exam. I thought our Shen Yan had made great progress. Is this the result you gave me? Wen Qiao took the test paper and looked at the questions carefully. Many of them were clearly the same type of questions that Shen Yan had done before. He had answered them correctly several times before, so it made no sense that he kept getting them wrong in today's exam. After reading 3 test papers in a row, this was not Shen Yan's true level at all. She put down the test paper, walked to Shen Yan, and asked, "Are you nervous today?" Shen Yan's eyes flashed. "It's okay." Wen Qiao said to Shen Qiuazhong, "With so many people watching him today, he is quite nervous. Mr. Shen, let's do another test tomorrow. We will let him take the test alone outside so that he can perform normally." Shen Qiuazhong waved his hand. "I don't think that is necessary. Teacher Wen failed in this mission. Please come back. You don't have to come over to be Shen Yan's tutor in the future. I will hire someone again. As for the deal we talked about at the beginning, there is no need to perform it." Wen Qiao frowned, but in the past few exams, Shen Yan could reach a high score of 70 in every subject, and his personality has also changed a lot now. He doesn't do pranks very much, and I can also be regarded as your is Mr. Shen, the tutor who has persisted the longest, turning a blind eye to all this. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 1104. Shen Qiuazhong smiled coldly. "Let's speak with facts. Teacher Wen, don't quibble and use strong words. Wen Qiao said coldly, I am the tutor who has been working as a tutor for the longest time. This is always true. So even if his cultural studies have not made much progress now, after a long time. Shen Qiuzhong said simply, no, teacher Wen, our transaction is over. You have been a tutor here for such a long time. We will give you the highest market price. This card contains 50,000 yuan. During this period, thank you for your hard work. During this period, Shen Yan kept his eyes lowered and did not even look at her. Wen Qiao frowned, I don't need the money. What I need is Lin Qinjin's blood. Mr. Shen, you know that. If you think 600 ml of blood is too much, I can take it in 2 times, 300 ml at a time. Shen Qiuzhong's face turned cold, Teacher Wen, don't push yourself too far. If you want this 50,000 yuan, then take it. We have nothing else to give you. Uncle Chen, see you off. Uncle Chen, who was smiling but not smiling, curled his lips, Teacher Wen, please come this way. Wen Qiao was almost driven out, and the Shen family had a posture of burning bridges across rivers. After sitting in the car, number 3 saw the sweat on her forehead and handed her a bottle of salt soda. What's wrong? There was a fire in Wen Qiao's heart. He always felt that something was wrong, but he was blasted out by the Shen family. She took 2 sips of ice soda and said, drive down the mountain first. The wind in the mountains was blowing, and Wen Qiao slowly began to realize what the strange feeling in the Shen family was. Is it possible that it was not because Shen Yan was nervous that he answered the question wrong, but that the father and son joined forces to trick her? Wen Qiao suddenly felt that blood was rushing to his forehead. She devoted all her efforts to guide Shen Yan on the right path, but in the end she was tricked. Is Shen Yan's childish sincerity just an illusion? Although she took good care of Shen Yan, the Shen family did not donate Shen Ning's blood as agreed. This is really killing 2 birds with 1 stone. The Shen family is indeed good at calculating. After hearing her words, number 3 stopped the car halfway up the mountain. Do you need me to go find them to settle the score? Wen Qiao rested his elbow on the half-opened car window and waved his hand, go back first and go to them now. They will definitely not admit it. It is too ugly and meaningless. Number 3 didn't step on the accelerator. Fortunately, this was the Shen family's private road and no cars would come. Wen Qiao asked him, what's wrong with you? I feel like you're being bullied, and I can't bear this tone. Wen Qiao smiled, the programming my uncle gave you makes you quite fond of fighting injustices. Number 3, sir, I only set up to fight the injustice for you. I won't care about others. Okay, let's go back first. It's time for you to shine. Wen Qiao returned home, and not long after, Su Ce came back. How about it? Wen Qiao sat on the rocking chair with his legs crossed and his posture lazily said, I was deceived. What do you mean? What do you mean by being deceived? Wen Qiao pressed his temples, I didn't expect that the Shen family has a great business and Shen Qiuzhong is also a prominent figure in Heikan, but he would actually break his word. What's the meaning? Number 3 told Su Ce everything about today's situation. Su Ce's expression was a bit sinister, shameless, using such despicable means. Wen Qiao said leisurely, yes. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 1105. Su Ce took off his lab coat. Shen Yan actually cooperated with his father to answer questions randomly. Wen Qiao's head hurt, I just hope that I am too petty. I hope that he is just too nervous and really can't answer. She really felt that Shen Yan was getting better bit by bit. If he could betray his conscience and cooperate with his father in cheating at such a young age, she would be really disappointed. And Shen Qiuzhong actually taught his son to lie through words and deeds. A father is so unprincipled. It can be said that Shen Yan's character was created by Shen Hong. Shen Yan had a mobile phone, and Wen Qiao thought about it and sent him a message, "Do you need me to tell you the questions you did wrong today?" She didn't question him, didn't speak in a suspicious tone, she just treated him as his tutor. But there was no reply for a long time, as if all her messages were lost in the ocean. Wen Qiao sent several messages, but the results were the same, no one responded. She called again, but no one answered. Wen Qiao frowned, "What are you doing? The whole family is acting mysteriously." Su Ce was about to take people directly to Shen's house, but Wen Qiao pulled him back, "Can you just bring a syringe and forcefully draw Shen Ning's blood?" Su Ce, "It's not a bad idea." Wen Qiao waved his hand, "Forget it, uncle, don't test the law on the edge. Don't be anxious. Let's see if there is any improvement." Su Ce felt like his lungs were hurting from the gas. When had he been manipulated like this before? For several days, Wen Qiao went to Shen's house, but was turned away by butler Chen. At most, he took her to a side hall and told her that the husband and the young master were not at home. The husband took the young master there. Vacation villa for vacation. What vacation? It was obvious that he just avoided seeing her. The summer vacation was about to end. On this day, the sky was gloomy and it started to rain in the evening. Wen Qiao reported to school and came back. The car parked in the parking space at the entrance of the alley and got out of the car holding a transparent umbrella. The French plane trees grew luxuriantly, blocking out the sky and the sun. The light on the roadside was very dim. The street lights had not yet turned on. Wen Qiao walked along the smooth bluestone road. Under the low courtyard wall, she saw someone squatting. There was no umbrella, and in the dim light, it could be seen that the figure was that of a child. Wen Qiao walked forward quickly, walked closer, and put the umbrella over his head. She had already recognized it, it was Shen Yan. "Why are you here?" Shen Yan looked up at her, said nothing, and continued to squat on the ground. The rain soaked his hair and clothes. It was already the end of summer, and it should be quite cold when it rained down like this in the evening. "Follow me to my house first." Shen Yan seemed to struggle for a long time, and finally stood up and followed Wen Qiao into her home without saying a word. Wen Mo was reading a book and was a little confused when he saw his sister bringing a little boy back. Wen Qiao assigned him, "Bring him a set of clothes that you wore when you were a child and change them for him." Wen Mo quickly pulled out a set of clothes from his closet that the little boy could wear, and asked him to change into them. After a while, Shen Yan left the room wearing dry clothes. Wen Qiao handed over a cup of hot water, "Drink some." Shen Yan held a transparent glass and sat on the fabric sofa. Wen Qiao pulled out a stool and sat in front of him. "Why are you near my house? Are you looking for me?" Shen Yan lowered his eyes and said nothing. "You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment." Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 1106. Number 3 came forward and asked seriously, "I want to ask you something. Did you answer the questions wrong on purpose in the previous exam, or did you really not know how to do it?" Before Wen Qiao could say don't worry, number 3 took the lead. "What's the rush? Why is it that my uncle, who has such a good temper, made an impatient robot?" Shen Yan's hands were holding the hem of his t-shirt, and his whole body seemed to be in fear. When Mo leaned close to Wen Qiao's ear and whispered, "He just asked me to get him long-sleeved clothes." Wen Qiao said softly, "It's okay. You don't have to answer if you don't want to. I won't force you to ask anything, but you just came to see me today. What's the matter?" Shen Yan still didn't speak, his little face was wrinkled, as if he was in a bad mood. But he used to be like this a lot, and it was normal for him to be in a bad mood. If nothing happens, I will take you back to Shen's house now. Shen Yan suddenly raised his eyes and looked at her. I don't want to go back. Wen Qiao said politely, why don't you want to go back? That's your home. Shen Yan, I just don't want to go back. Wen Qiao, you are 9 years old this year. Your custody is in the hands of your father. I have no right to keep you. If your father comes back and accuses me of abducting underage children, you should know what kind of punishment I will receive. You father, I feel like he can do such a thing. Shen Yan trembled all over, his expression of stubbornness and fear of embarrassment was really torn. Wen Qiao, I'll take you back after dinner, okay? Shen Yan clenched his two small fists, like a small volcano about to erupt. He suddenly jumped up, since you have become my tutor, why don't you continue to be my tutor? The little bastard complained first to the villain. Do you really think that Wen Qiao is a clay figure with no anger at all? Don't you know the reason why I don't continue? It's because your father doesn't need me anymore, so he drove me away. Shen Yan looked aggrieved, aren't you very powerful? Why can't you find a way to stay? Wen Qiao chuckled, so, why should I stay? I'm not a good teacher. Your grades haven't improved at all for so long. Do I still need to stay? Yes. He blurted out, I made a mistake on purpose. My average score can reach 75. I made a mistake on purpose. Wen Qiao felt cold. It turned out that the child really did something wrong on purpose, and she had treated him with care. In the end, the child teamed up with his father to tease her, and now he even beat her up and asked her why she left the Shen family. Did you do it on purpose? Shen Yan? Why did you do that? Is it because you hate me? Shen Yan's eyes were red, but he tried not to let his tears fall. Dad said, if I get high marks in the exam, I won't need a teacher. Then you will leave. Only if you do poorly in the exam can I keep you. Wen Qiao was startled. It turned out that Shen Yan didn't know about it. It turned out that Shen Yan was also deceived by his father. She had never seen a more shameless person in Baikan Junior High School. But why didn't you come later? Why? Wen Qiao said calmly, your father said that in that exam, you had to get 60 points in all 3 subjects before the deal between him and I would be considered successful. You were also present at the time, so you should have heard it. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 1107. Shen Yan, I don't even know what you are talking about, I don't understand. Wen Qiao, there is a deal between your father and I have a strange disease and need 600 ml of your sister's blood. I will be your tutor. I am entrusted by your father to discipline you well. If it succeeds, he asked your sister to donate blood to me. If it fails, then I will get nothing. Obviously, your father went back on his word and finally changed his mind and didn't want your sister to donate blood to me, so he let you fail the test on purpose. Shen Yan, who knew the truth, almost shed tears. I have no idea. Wen Qiao nodded, yes, I believe you. Shen Yan was greatly touched, do you believe me? Wen Qiao, believe it? Shen Yan suddenly turned his head, rushed into Wen Mo's room, closed the door with a bang, startling the 3 people in the living room. Why do you feel like Shen Yan is the owner here? Don't you think of yourself as an outsider? Number 3 went to knock on the door, and there was a faint sound of sobbing inside. Number 3 returned to Wen Qiao and whispered, I seem to be crying inside. Wen Qiao nodded, then let him cry for a while to vent. The little boy really wanted to save face, and it wasn't embarrassing to cry in front of them. Shen Yan squatted on the floor of the room, trying hard not to make a sound. When he was in the Shen family, Some of the pranks at the beginning were really not pranks, but happened to the guests, but no matter what it was, his father would do it. Blame it on him. He explained at the top of his lungs, but not once did his father believe him. From then on, he started to break the rules. But Wen Qiao believed in him, and she believed in him. Woo-hoo-hoo, he cried so hard that he almost wanted to flood the Golden Mountain with water. After a long time, Shen Yan came out of the room. As soon as he opened the door, he saw several more people in the living room. There was an auntie-like person serving food, and an uncle wearing an apron around his waist greeted him, "Come and have dinner." Wen Qiao was already sitting at the dining table and waved his hand, "Come here quickly." Shen Yan didn't look awkward, his eyes were red, and he sat down next to Wen Qiao. Su Yun served him a bowl of borscht soup. "I heard you got caught in the rain? Have something hot." Shen Yan pursed his lips, as if he wanted to say thank you, but couldn't say it. That's not his style, it feels so embarrassing. When Shen Yan eats, he always feels very strange, because his family is talking and laughing. He has never seen such an atmosphere. In the Shen family, talking is not allowed during meals. The tightness makes people feel suffocated. But here, there is only one feeling, and that is warmth. He lowered his head to pick up the rice in the bowl and just listened to them talking and laughing. After dinner, it was still raining outside. Wen Qiao stood up, "Send you back." Shen Yan stood there, neither stepping forward nor retreating, as if he didn't want to leave. Wen Qiao stepped forward and rubbed his head, but he pushed his hand away in disgust. "Don't touch it." "Wen Qiao, find out where you are now. Show your temper again, let's go." She knew very well that Shen Qiaohong was a scheming person and was not a gentleman. If she really left Shen Yan here without authorization, Shen Qiaohong could take her to court tomorrow. Shen Yan walked out with Wen Qiao with a slumped face. After getting in the car, Wen Qiao grabbed his wrist. Shen Yan was frightened. Wen Qiao lifted his sleeves and saw several scars on them, as if they had been slapped by something, which was shocking. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 1108. What happened? Shen Yan struggled to resist and pulled his sleeve down. Wen Qiao's eyes were deep and his voice was low. "Did your father hit you?" Shen Yan turned away and said nothing. Wen Qiao shook his head. "This Shen Qiaohong is really a bitch. Not only is he insidious and cunning, but he also shows no remorse for causing his son to be like this. With such a parent setting an example, I'm afraid Shen Yan will definitely grow crooked in the future." Wen Qiao took a deep breath. "Wait for me, I'll go back and get you some medicine." "Where are the injuries?" Shen Yan flattened his mouth and whispered, "The back and the arms." "What did he hit you with?" Shen Yan's eyes turned red. "Belt." Wen Qiao's chest was severely clogged, and today was also the day when he wanted to insult Shen Qiaohong passionately. "Is this how you treat your own son?" Wen Qiao quickly brought an ointment to apply on wounds and told him, "If you can't reach it from behind, ask the servant at home to apply it to you. These ointments are very effective and will take effect in 3 to 5 days." Shen Yan remained silent. "Where's your mother?" Wen Qiao had never seen Mrs. Shen in the Shen family. Their family had never mentioned this woman, but they had never heard of the death of Mrs. Shen's family. "Divorced, Dad." Wen Qiao understood. "Is your mother still in Haikan?" "Exist." "Then when she divorced your father, didn't she fight for your custody rights?" Shen Yan pursed his lips. "I was still young at that time and didn't know." "Give me her address, and do something for me." Shen Yan glanced at her. "What's the matter?" Wen Qiao leaned close to his ear and whispered a few words. "Is that okay?" Shen Yan seemed to be struggling fiercely, and Wen Qiao spread his hands. "If you are really in trouble, I won't force you." Shen Yan lowered his eyes. "I want to think about it." The car drove alone in the night, bypassed the winding mountain road, and stopped at the door of the Shen family mansion. Shen Yan grabbed the door handle of the car and seemed unwilling to get out of the car. Wen Qiao touched his head. "I'll get off the bus with you." Shen Yan's eyes lit up again. Wen Qiao walked a short distance for a long time. She had many considerations in her mind. Of course she could question Shen Qiaohong for going back on his word and inciting her son to cheat, and get to the bottom of this matter. But she also has to consider Shen Yan. Although Shen Yan is Shen Qiaohong's son, Shen Qiaohong has always been ruthless. Her behavior will undoubtedly harm Shen Yan. Therefore, she needs to be more careful every step she takes, so that Shen Qiaohong loses completely while not hurting Shen Yan. Entering the Shen family mansion, Shen Qiaohong was shocked when he saw Wen Qiao. He knew best what he had done, so of course he still felt guilty, not to mention that his youngest son was actually with Wen Qiao. Uncle Chen immediately stepped forward and grabbed Shen Yan's wrist. Shen Yan struggled for a while, gritted his teeth and said, "Who told you to touch me?" Uncle Chen smiled apologetically, "Young master, where have you been this late at night?" Wen Qiao walked up to Shen Qiaohong and said with a faint smile, "I met Shen Yan near my house today. I didn't know why he was there, so I sent him back." Shen Qiaohong had a fake smile on his face. "Thank you very much, Miss Wen." Wen Qiao raised his eyebrows. "You're welcome. After all, I have been this child's tutor for a summer vacation. This is what I should do." Shen Qiaohong thought she was going to say something else. He always felt that this boy had told Wen Qiao everything. According to Miss Wen's temperament, shouldn't he be asked something? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me. The boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 1109. Of course, he had already thought of his words. After all, this boy was naughty and no one would take his words seriously. But Wen Qiao didn't ask anything. "If there's nothing else, I'll leave first." A sinister look flashed in Shen Qiaohong's eyes, and he raised his hand. "Uncle Chen, send Miss Wen out." After Wen Qiao went out, Shen Qiaohong raised his hand and gave Shen Yan a big slap in the face, and said fiercely, "Did you go to find him?" Shen Yan's chest heaved violently. "I didn't." Still saying no. "Just not. Did you say anything to her?" Shen Yan covered his face and whispered, "No." Shen Qiaohong picked him up by the scruff of his neck and dragged him upstairs. In Shen Yan's room, his father threw him on the carpet. Shen Qiaohong said with a sinister look on his face, "It's best not to eat it, you know." Shen Yan was unconvinced and said, "Why did you go back on your word?" Shen Qiaohong was annoyed. "Who are you talking to? What's your attitude?" Shen Yan jumped up and said with righteous indignation, "You asked me to lie and cheat. I could obviously get more than 70 points in the test. You said that if I didn't do well in the test, Wen Qiao could stay and continue to be my teacher, but you lied to me." Shen Qiaohong slapped him again. "You said you didn't tell Wen Qiao." Shen Yan was beaten to the carpet. "I was right, it was Dad who was wrong, it was you who broke your word, it was you who were despicable." These words simply added fuel to the fire. Shen Qiaohong was so angry that he took off his belt again and slapped Shen Yan fiercely. Old wounds have not healed, and new wounds have been added. Shen Yan seemed to be fearless and shouted at him, "You promised to ask your sister to donate 600 milliliters of blood to Wen Qiao. You promised others, and they completed the task, but you broke the promise. You are despicable, shameless." Shen Qiaohong was extremely angry and slapped him hard again. "You bastard, that thing with turned elbows, who raised you to be so big? How dare you protect others? If I don't beat you to death today, I will beat you to death. Shen Yan was like a young seedling in a storm, trembling and almost dying after being beaten by his father. Finally, Uncle Chen rushed in. Uncle Chen is a staunch supporter of Shen Qiuzhong. He came in just because he was worried about killing people. Sir, stop fighting. Master, he knows he was wrong. Shen Qiuzhong threw away the belt in his hand angrily. Call the doctor to come and take a look at him. Don't let him die. Yes, yes, I'll call the doctor over right now. Shen Yan lay on the ground, struggled to open his eyes and looked at his father's back, sobbed, and then fainted. The next day was a sunny day. Wen Qiao looked at the address on his phone, opened the navigation, and asked number 3 to drive there. It's about a 40-minute drive from her home, just across one district, and you're there. It was a mid to high-end apartment complex. Number 3 parked the car under a small high-rise apartment building and the two of them got out of the car. Number 3 rang the doorbell at the gate. After a while, a middle-aged woman's voice rang, "Who is it?" Wen Qiao hesitated and said, "I am Shen Yan's tutor. I would like to communicate with you about Shen Yan." The people over there seemed a little surprised, but they still opened the door. The door clicked. Number 3 quickly opened the door. The two entered the corridor and went up to the 16th floor. The door of 1602 was open. There was a man who was less than 4 years old. A 10-year-old woman takes good care of herself, so she looks younger. Judging from her appearance, she is very gentle. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 1110. Han Ying said politely, "Are you Shen Yan's tutor?" Wen Qiao smiled, "Yes. Please come in." The youngness of this woman was unexpected to Wen Qiao, because Shen Yan had 2 older brothers, both in their 20s. So, don't Shen Yan and those 2 brothers have the same mother? Han Ying poured water for Wen Qiao, and the two sat opposite each other. Wen Qiao got straight to the point and said, "I would like to ask, which wife of Shen Qiuzhong are you?" Han Ying smiled sadly, "I am his second wife. His first wife passed away. Shen Yan's 2 brothers were born to the first wife. Before the first wife passed away, Shen Qiuzhong and Shen Ning's mother got better. Shen Ning was born out of wedlock, and Shen Qiuzhong finally married me. Since he likes Shen Ning's mother, why not marry her? Shen Ning's mother is unwilling to marry him." Wen Qiao raised his eyebrows slightly, "Why don't you want to? Shen Qiuzhong is rich and powerful, and he looks pretty good." Han Ying smiled, "Obviously Shen Ning's mother understands this man better. I was too naive at the time. What's wrong? Shen Qiuzhong has violent tendencies." Wen Qiao understood, so it wasn't a surprise. Han Ying added, "I have been married to him for 3 years, and the injuries on my body have not healed. When he is unhappy, he takes out his anger on me. Shen Yan was only 3 years old at that time, and he often bumped into me and got beaten. I was sorry for that child, and often encountering such a thing is very harmful to his young heart." Wen Qiao asked again, "Will you divorce Shen Qiuzhong after that?" "I really couldn't bear it anymore, so I filed for divorce." "Why don't you take Shen Yan away? You know what kind of person your husband is, but if you leave Shen Yan there, aren't you harming him?" Han Ying suddenly became emotional, "Do you think I don't want to? That is my biological son, a piece of flesh that fell off my body. I know that Shen Qiuzhong has a bad temper and beats people frequently, so I want to take him away too. But I can't fight him. Shen Qiuzhong is rich and powerful. I am no match for him. He has a lawyer team. What about me? In the end, I don't even have the money to hire a lawyer, and I can't afford to litigate. Are you in a lawsuit with him? Why didn't you fight?" After 2 years of litigation, he didn't treat Shen Yan well at all, but he refused to give him up to me. I really hated him, and I also hated myself. I was so useless, even I can't even protect my own son. She was too emotional, and Wen Qiao could only comfort her, you are right, don't blame yourself. It turned out that Han Ying had been fighting a lawsuit for 2 years. She was a good mother, but she was too weak and was really no match for Shen Qiuzhong. As long as she still wants Shen Yan's custody, the matter will take a turn for the better. Han Ying cried uncontrollably, you said you were tutoring Shen Yan, how is he now? Can't you even see him? Han Ying covered her face and cried, Shen Qiuzhong never lets me see him. I haven't seen him for several years. Wen Qiao exhaled, he's not very good. Han Ying cried even harder, I knew he must be bad. No one in that family cared about him. Did Shen Qiuzhong hit him? Although it was difficult, Wen Qiao still told the truth, hit him. Han Ying almost collapsed, what should I do? What should I do? Wen Qiao, then let me ask you, do you want to get his custody back?